We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DT India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. South Korea police raid Muan Airport and the Jeju Air office over Jeju Air crash that killed 179. Flight data recorder being examined to establish the cause. USA's driver in fatal New Orleans truck ramming was inspired by the ISIS. FBI suspects more involved in the attack, launches manhunt for more suspects. Cybertruck filled with fuel and fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel, killing driver, probe underway. Montenegro declares 3 days of national mourning after gunman goes on rampage, killing at least 10. Suspect dies after attempting suicide. Israel wants to intensify its strikes in Gaza if Hamas keeps up its rocket fire. And updates on South Korea plane crash first. Police on Thursday carried out raids at Muan Airport and Jeju Air's office in connection with the deadly crash involving one of the airline's Boeing 737-800s, which resulted in the death of 179 people. The search and seizure operations were conducted at 3 locations, including Muan Airport, the Jeju Air office in Seoul, and a regional aviation office. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok said that immediate action must be taken if a special inspection finds any issues. Meanwhile, the Transport Ministry said that investigators have extracted the data from the plane's cockpit voice recorder and will convert it into an audio file. The process is expected to be finished by Friday. The flight data recorder of the ill-fated plane will be sent to the US for analysis. Well, the South Korean and the US investigators, including from Boeing, have been combing the crash site in southwestern Muan since the disaster to establish the cause of the crash. While faulty land gear has been considered a key factor, officials are also examining other potential causes, such as a bird strike leading to mechanical failure. Investigators are also probing whether technical faults, maintenance lapses, or external elements contributed to the disaster. And in another update from South Korea, impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol continued resisting arrest for a 3rd day on Thursday, vowing to fight authorities investigating his failed martial law attempt. The embattled leader's bungled declaration on December 3rd resulted in his impeachment, leaving him facing potential arrest, imprisonment, or at worst, the death penalty. Supporters and opponents of Yoon have gathered outside his residence while his security team has prevented police raids in a dramatic standoff. Yoon has gone to ground but remained unrepentant, issuing a defiant message to his supporters ahead of a warrant expiration on January 6th. Yoon's legal team has filed for an injunction to block the warrant, arguing that the arrest order is unlawful and invalid, while Yoon's lawyer said that the impeached leader remains in Seoul. And now shifting focus to the US, which was hit by 2 separate incidents within a span of few hours. The first one took place in the New Orleans French Quarter on the New Year's Day, where a US Army veteran with an ISIS flag on his truck swerved around makeshift barriers and plowed into the crowd, killing 15 people. The suspect has been identified as Shamsud Din Jabbar, a 42-year-old US citizen from Texas who once served in Afghanistan. He was later killed in a shootout with the police. Well, the attack injured about 30 other people, including 2 police officers wounded by gunfire from the suspect. The Federal Bureau of Investigation said an ISIS flag was located in the vehicle, and the team is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. The team has thus launched a manhunt for more suspects, with an extremely heavy police presence at the scene. Also, within few hours, the second incident took place in Las Vegas, where a Tesla Cybertruck exploded in flames outside the Trump International Hotel, killing one person and injuring 7 others. On your screens are the videos taken by witnesses inside and outside the hotel, showing the vehicle exploding and flames pouring out of it as it sat just outside the hotel. The FBI is investigating whether the blast was an act of terrorism. The suspect concerned has been identified. However, police said it was not yet ready to publicly identify the driver.
This is an isolated incident. We do not believe that there's a bunch of folks out there supporting this or helping this, and we don't believe that there's any other danger to the community right now.
Well, the police has urged the public to avoid the area, though the police noted the fire had been put out. President Joe Biden, too, has directed his team to offer any federal assistance needed. And my colleague Anil Thomas joins us for more on this. Well, Anil, indeed a very, very tragic incident right on the New Year's Day. While the probe is on, what are the updates you are getting on this?
Not exactly. It's a horrific incident, surely unsettling the apple cart when it comes to New Year celebrations. And this particular city is known for its celebration. New Orleans depends on, their economy depends highly on tourism. And this particular event that's taken place. Remember, in 2016, it all started in France. This kind of assault, especially on celebrations or people on the streets, was something that we saw in Nice, where close to 88 people died. And a similar trend being followed across many countries now. You could see the same happen in China, a similar incident like that. And this particular place, New Orleans, in Louisiana district, is also known as the capital, especially when it comes to accidents that takes place. The crime rate here is pretty high, close to 26% of crime rate that we have seen in this particular country, in this particular state. 45%, there has been a sharp fall, especially when it comes to the crime rate in New Orleans. But having said that, this particular incident has clearly rattled the New Year celebrations there in the city, and a city that hugely banks on its economy, banks especially on tourism. This particular incident, this particular terrorist attack is not something that the people there are used to, and is surely upsetting the apple cart when it comes to the celebrations, when it comes to New Year, and also the Super Bowl game that one was expecting. The Super Bowl game getting affected very badly. It's been postponed for 24 hours, but I think it's going to have a cascading effect, and this cascading effect is going to have a lasting impression, especially when it comes to the economy of New Orleans and Louisiana getting affected.
All right, Anil, has the motive behind the attack been ascertained till now?
Well, that's something that's been a cause of concern, when it comes to the motive behind this particular attack. This is an Airbnb truck that is being used in this attack, and also in the attack that's taken place near the Trump Towers. But the American president has been quick to clear that these two incidents have no link to each other. And I think that's where, the so-called expectation that, they could be linked, because there have been many personalities in America who have tried to link it together. But then the American president has doused the fire. He's in Camp David, but he's doused the fire, especially when it comes to linking the two incidents that have taken place simultaneously. So there is no connection. The motive behind it, yes, that's something that's a cause of concern. The person was a former army man, and he's got a sticker of ISIS on his vehicle or the truck that he's used to ram the people, the celebrations or the people on the street. So that's the only link that they have been able to find out. And this particular case, New Orleans has seen a similar kind of attack in November and also in 2017. But this one, as the FBI put it, is an act of terrorism, something that the people there are not used to. And I think that's something that's a bigger cause of concern, investigating it and getting to the root cause of, how this happened and why this happened. That's something that FBI has not been able to answer. And I think that's where a lot of question marks are being raised.
Surely a lot of question marks being raised indeed. Thank you so much, Anil, for all those details. And moving on, vehicle attacks have become increasingly common around the world. Here's a list of some high-profile incidents in which a vehicle was used to ram into the crowds, harming and killing bystanders in recent years. Vehicle attacks have surged globally since 2016, starting with a nice attack in France when a man drove a heavy truck into crowds of Bastille Day celebrants, claiming 86 lives. The ISIS claimed the responsibility of the attack. In December 2016, a Tunisian asylum seeker hijacked a truck, plowed into a crowded Berlin Christmas market, killing 11 more people and injuring dozens. 4 days later, he was killed in a shootout with police in Italy. A car sped across Westminster Bridge in March 2017, mowing down pedestrians just outside the Parliament, killing 4 people and injuring dozens. The driver then fatally stabbed a police officer before he was shot dead. In May 2017, a U.S. Navy veteran rammed his car into pedestrians in Manhattan's crowded Times Square, killing a woman and injuring 22 people. In August 2017, a 22-year-old man rammed a car into crowds in Barcelona on Las Ramblas, killing 13 people. The man, Yunus Abu Yaqub, fled the scene on foot. Manhunt for suspected driver is still on. In October 2017, an Uzbek national plowed a rented truck onto a Manhattan bike path, killing 8 people and injuring 11. In 2018, a man plowed a rented van into dozens of people in downtown Toronto, killing 11 people and injuring 15. A Wisconsin man was convicted in 2022 of killing 6 people and injuring dozens when he drove his SUV into a Christmas parade near Milwaukee, Wisconsin in November 2021. Well, a driver in November 2024 rammed his car into a crowd at a sports center in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai, killing 35 people and severely injuring 43 in one of the deadliest attacks in contemporary Chinese history. In Germany, a 50-year-old man was charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder in December 2024 after police said he plowed a car through crowds at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, killing 5 people and injuring scores. And moving on to the southeastern European country of Montenegro, where 3 days of national mourning has been declared from Thursday after a gunman killed at least 10 people in a rampage in a small town. According to media reports, the suspect had engaged in a brawl at a restaurant and later returned and opened fire, killing multiple people, including the owner of the establishment and 2 children. Interior Minister said that members of the suspect's own family were among the victims, while the suspect died from self-inflicted injuries after attempting suicide. The minister described the incident as the consequence of disturbed interpersonal relations without providing further details. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Israel's former defense minister Yoav Gallant resigns from parliament, vows to bring kidnapped Israelis home. Britain steps up efforts to fight illegal migration, plans tough laws to fight people smugglers. And in its fight against pollution, Milan introduces country's toughest rules on smoking.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching India News Now. Lepakshi Quran, and moving on, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned on Wednesday that Israel will intensify its strikes in Gaza if Hamas keeps up its rocket fire. Over the past week, Palestinian terrorists have repeatedly fired rockets at Israel, particularly from northern Gaza, where the Israeli military is conducting a major offensive. His warning came after a visit to the Israeli town of Netivot, which was recently targeted by rocket fire from nearby Gaza. Hamas is still holding 96 hostages seized during their October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, and successive rounds of negotiations for their release and a ceasefire have all failed. And Israel's former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced on Wednesday that he was resigning from Parliament. In a televised statement on Wednesday, Gallant vowed to work continuously to bring kidnapped Israelis back home.
In the last 2 months since I was removed from the position as Minister of Defense, a significant event has occurred. The government of Israel, led by the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister, is advancing a conscription law that contradicts the needs of the IDF and the security of the State of Israel. The proposed law is intended to grant exemptions from military service to the majority of the Haredi sector youth. This I cannot accept or be a part to.
Well, Gallant was dismissed from the government in November last year by Netanyahu after months of disagreements over the conduct of the conflict against Hamas in Gaza, but kept his seat as an elected member of the Knesset. Netanyahu and Gallant disagreed on several issues, notably the exemption of ultra-Orthodox Jewish men from military service. Gallant and Netanyahu also clashed over the conduct of Israel's war in Gaza after the deadly attack by Hamas on October 7, 2023. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Gallant and Netanyahu, along with the Hamas leader, for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Gaza conflict. And a Syrian delegation led by newly appointed Foreign Minister Assad Hassan al-Shibani arrived in Riyadh on Wednesday in its first official visit abroad. The delegation includes Defense Minister Murhaf Abu Kasra and General Intelligence Service Chief Anas Khattab. The visit came less than a month since Bashar al-Assad was ousted by rebels on 8th of December. Upon arriving in the kingdom, the Syrian FM expressed hope to open a new, bright page in Syrian-Saudi relations that befits the long shared history between the two countries. The top Syrian delegation is visiting kingdom at the invitation of the Saudi foreign minister. Last month, the Saudi delegation met Syria's new leader, Ahmed al-Shara, in Damascus. And Britain steps up efforts to fight illegal migration and strengthen border security, with the government saying that suspected people smugglers will face severe curbs under new laws. Those suspected will face travel bans, social media blackouts and restrictions on phone usage to help the government dismantle organized immigration crime networks. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, elected to office in July, has prioritized tackling illegal migration by cracking down on the gangs who smuggle people across the English Channel. While the number of irregular migrants arriving in Britain on small boats soared in 2024. According to the government data, some 36,816 people were detected in the Channel last year, a 25% increase from the previous year. At least 76 deaths were recorded in around that time. And Poland has taken over the presidency of the Council of the European Union, taking over from Hungary, marking the start of a 6-month rotation. EU member states take turns every 6 months to chair meetings of the bloc's member governments and liaise between them and other EU institutions. While 2024 saw Belgium and Hungary preside, Poland and Denmark take charge in 2025. The Polish EU presidency set on its website priorities for its tenure, would include European security and climate change. As a nation bordering Belarus and deeply affected by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, it also seeks to address migration and border security challenges. And Europe's gas supply is facing a crisis as the Russia-Ukraine conflict has disrupted traditional energy routes. The breakaway Moldovan region of Transnistria is without heating after Russian gas supplies were cut, a result of a payment dispute between Moldova and Russia's Gazprom and Ukraine's refusal to extend transit agreements. Russian gas, once crucial, now makes up less than 10% of EU imports, down from over 40% in 2021. In Turk Stream pipeline under the Black Sea and its extension, the Balkan Stream, continues supplying gas to Hungary, Serbia and Bulgaria. The Blue Stream pipeline also delivers gas to southern Europe. Key pipelines like Nord Stream and Yamal Europe have been suspended, while countries like Hungary and Slovakia remain heavily reliant on Russian gas. Slovakia's reliance on Russian gas remains strong due to costs, despite it exploring alternative suppliers. Slovakia faces potential price hikes if it switches, with estimated transit fees adding millions of euros. Hungary receives most of its gas via Turk Stream, minimizing the impact of Ukraine's transit block. However, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's reliance on Russian gas puts Hungary at odds with EU goals to reduce dependence on Russia. This shifting energy landscape highlights Europe's urgent need for alternative supplies, energy diversification and regional cooperation as it navigates rising cost and political pressure. And Brazil's Amazon rainforest recorded more than 0.14 million fires in 2024, the highest in 17 years, according to the government agencies. This marked a 42% increase from the 98,600 fires in 2023, driven by a prolonged drought fueled by climate change and El Nino. Despite the fires, deforestation in the Amazon fell by over 30% year-on-year until August 2024, reaching its lowest level in 9 years. President of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, has prioritized Amazon preservation and will host COP30 in Belém in 2025. The EU's Copernicus Climate Service linked severe drought intensified wildfires across South America last year. Smoke from the fires caused heavy pollution in cities like Brasilia and Rio de Janeiro for weeks. Experts warn that deliberate burning by farmers and ongoing deforestation could push the Amazon to emit more carbon than it absorbs. And smokers in Milan risk being fined for lighting up on city streets or crowded public areas after the country's toughest ban came into effect on the 1st of January. Those who defy the new prohibition in the polluted northern Italian city could be fined between 40 to 240 euros.
Milan, known as financial and fashion capital of Italy, also carries the tag of being one of the most polluted cities of Europe. Situated in the middle of the industrial Po Valley and choked with road traffic, Milan has been fighting pollution since long. Milan's air quality ordinance, passed in 2020, called for progressively stricter bans on smoking. The latest smoking ban applies to all public spaces, including streets. Local officials say the measure is aimed at reducing airborne particulates to improve the quality of the city's air. Italian Tobacconists Federation expects business to drop by 20 to 30%. Italy's first national smoking ban in 1975 prohibited smoking on public transportation and in classrooms and certain other areas. Some 19% of Italians smoke lower than 24% average within the European Union. Cigarettes in Italy are also among the cheapest in Europe. In Italy, about 93,000 deaths per year are attributed to smoking. According to the World Health Organization, smoking is responsible for roughly 85% of all cases of lung cancer, the deadliest cancer worldwide. Within the European Union, 17 countries have passed smoke-free legislation, with Ireland, Greece, Bulgaria, Malta, Spain and Hungary the strictest. In 2021, Milan banned smoking in parks and playgrounds, as well as bus stops and sports facilities. The latest smoking ban, effective January 1st, applies to all public spaces, including streets. Bureau Report, TT India.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Italians plunged into the icy waters of River Tiber in Rome on Wednesday as they welcomed the new year with a traditional jump from Cava Bridge. Marco Foy succeeded Maurizio Palmoli as this year's Mr. OK, a title traditionally held by the veteran diver who retired last year. Since 1946, the annual Tiber Drive marks New Year's Day, with 3 divers leaping off Rome's Cava Bridge this year.
Esistono questi fiumi storici e allora grazie.
After celebrating the start of 2025, thousands of runners gathered at Berlin's landmark Brandenburg Gate to get the new year off to a positive start. The 52nd event saw 4,500 runners start at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate, race along Unter Linden to the cathedral and return. There is no entry fee for the fun run, with donations going to people in need. Hundreds of revelers gathered at Barcelona Beach to take part in the traditional first bath of the year in the Mediterranean Sea. Enjoying the sun, participants ran from the beach to the water wearing Christmas hats and glasses. Foreigners also enjoyed the traditional event. Iceland's New Year featured northern lights illuminating the sky alongside vibrant fireworks. The lights, also known as aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere, are a phenomena caused by plasma ejected from the sun during a solar storm interacting with the geomagnetic field on Earth. And as New Year holidaymakers return to Bangkok, Public Health Minister warned of a potential rise in road accidents, citing fatigue from late-night celebrations. The Directorate to Prevent and Reduce Road Accidents has tightened traffic regulation enforcement, focusing on drunk driving, seat belts and helmets. Transport company has arranged ample buses and staff to handle 70,000 to 90,000 daily holidaymakers returning to Bangkok. The State Railways of Thailand have also made additional arrangements. And still to come in DD India News Hour. Bangladesh court to hear bail plea of jailed Hindu leader Chinmoy Krishnadas amid rising tensions. The atmosphere gets electrifying as preparations are in full swing for Mahakumbh 2025. And we'll take live updates from Jammu and Kashmir as intense cold wave conditions engulf the region.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. South Korea police raid Muan Airport and the Jeju Air office over Jeju Air crash that killed 179. Flight data recorder being examined to establish the cause. USA's driver in fatal New Orleans truck ramming was inspired by the ISIS. FBI suspects more involved in the attack. Launches manhunt for more suspects. Cybertruck filled with fuel and fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel, killing driver. Probe underway. Montenegro declares 3 days of national mourning after gunman goes on rampage, killing at least 10. Suspect dies after attempting suicide. Israel wants to intensify its strikes in Gaza if Hamas keeps up its rocket fire. And moving on, Bangladesh court to hear the bail plea of jailed Hindu leader Chinmay Krishnadas on Thursday, while ISKCON expressed hope the jailed Hindu leader will receive justice in the court hearing. Chinmay Krishnadas was arrested from Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport area of Dhaka in connection with a sedition case filed in Chattogram on November 25th. Bangladesh's minority Hindus have faced hundreds of attacks in the country since the fall of Sheikh Hasina's Awami League government on the 5th of August. Chinmay Krishnadas earlier demanded that the interim government in Bangladesh take strong action against the fundamentalists fomenting trouble in that country and arrest them so as to build confidence among the minorities. An Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Political Affairs Majid Takht Ravanchi will arrive in New Delhi today on a two-day visit. Takht Ravanchi will participate in the 19th round of Iran-India political consultations. Iran and India have a long-standing historical relationship underscored by cultural and economic ties and formalized by the 2003 Strategic Partnership Agreement. This partnership has flourished particularly in the fields of energy and trade, with bilateral trade reaching an impressive $17.5 billion in 2022-2023. And India's Ministry of Defence has declared 2025 as the year of reforms, a strategic move aimed at modernizing the country's armed forces to prepare them for future challenges. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh announced the decision at a high-level meeting. And now let's take a look at the key focus areas of the initiative. Enhancing jointness and integration initiatives and facilitate establishment of the integrated theatre commands. Focus on new domains such as cyber and space and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, hypersonics and robotics. Develop a shared understanding of operational requirements and joint operational capabilities through inter-service cooperation and training. Acquisition procedures need to be made simpler and time-sensitive to facilitate swifter and robust capability development. Facilitate technology transfer and knowledge sharing between the defence sector and civil industries, promoting public-private partnerships by improving ease of doing business. Focus on collaboration across various stakeholders in the defence ecosystem. Position India as a credible exporter of defence products, fostering R&D and partnerships between Indian industries and foreign original equipment manufacturers for knowledge sharing and resource integration. Ensuring the welfare of veterans while leveraging their expertise. And we now tell you about the preparations underway on a war footing as Prayagraj gears up for the Mahakumbh 2025. In the run-up to this mega event, grand procession by Sri Shambhu Panchayati Atal Akhada made the atmosphere electrifying. The next report examines how Prayagraj is all set for this mega festival of faith.
The Grand Mahakumbh 2025, a sacred pilgrimage and festival of faith that attracts millions of devotees and travelers from all corners of the world, is all set to begin in the holy Indian city of Prayagraj from the 13th of this month. In the run-up to the Mahakumbh 2025, a grand procession by Sri Shambhu Panchayati Atal Akhada made the atmosphere electrifying. Accompanied by traditional music and fanfare, the royal procession entered the Mahakumbh Mela premises, showcasing its spiritual and cultural magnificence.
उसको अपने सर पे माथे बना के रखिए, पूरे विश्व को संदेश के साथ प्रयागराज की पावन भूमि वो भूमि है जहाँ पर जो आता है माँ त्रिवेणी में स्नान करता है वो कर जाता है.
Meanwhile, the Uttar Pradesh government has made extensive arrangements to ensure Mahakumbh 2025 is a memorable and divine experience for all. For the past few months, an army of workers have been diligently channelizing the rivers, widening roads, and leveling the ghats to transform the city in anticipation of one of the largest religious events in the world. And the Indian Railways is leaving no stone unturned in making the journey to Mahakumbh easy and safe for the pilgrims. And more than 10,000 regular and 3,134 special trains are being run by the railways. Out of these, 1,800 trains will be run for short distance and 700 trains for long distance. Mahakumbh 2025 has now become a status symbol for people on New Year. From WhatsApp status to X, Instagram and Facebook Reels, Mahakumbh is becoming increasingly popular. People are highly attracted and impressed by the preparations and decorations of the holy event. The entire area is glowing with more than 67,000 lights at night. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Toxic waste from Bhopal's Union Carbide factory linked to the 40-year-old gas tragedy has been transported to Pithampur for disposal. The 250-kilometer journey was secured by a green corridor with 50 police personnel ensuring safety. Authorities will destroy the hazardous waste following strict protocols in the coming days. Ticket sales for the Republic Day Parade on January 26, 2025 and the beating retreat ceremonies on January 28, 29, 2025 starts on the 2nd of January. The online tickets will be available at amantran.mod.gov.in or Amantran app and offline tickets at 5 locations in Delhi, including Sena Bhavan, Shastri Bhavan, Jantar Mantar, Pragati Maidan and Rajiv Chowk Metro Station. Shimla's historic open-air ice skating rink, over a century old, remains a winter highlight for locals and visitors. On New Year's Day 2025, the rink saw enthusiastic skaters enjoying its charm. Renowned for hosting competitions, the rink continues to be a treasured landmark of winter recreation. And the Indian Meteorological Department has predicted that a wet spell is likely to occur over the Himalayan region for the coming week and on the plains of northwest India from the 4th of January. Dense fog and cold wave conditions are expected to maintain their grip over some parts of northwest India for the next 24 hours. Gradual improvement is forecast afterwards. According to the Met Department, minimum temperatures across most of India are forecasted to be higher than usual in January, with exceptions in parts of eastern, northwest and west central regions. Himachal Pradesh is set to witness fresh snowfall and rainfall in the mid and high hill areas starting on the 2nd of January, with officials forecasting heavy precipitation. According to the Meteorological Department, the state is expected to experience heavy rainfall on January 5th and 6th, while the plains and low hills will likely remain dry. Also, Jammu and Kashmir continue to experience severe cold, with temperatures dropping below freezing in many areas. The chill caused Dal Lake's surface to freeze. And for more, we have Shabir Dar joining us from Srinagar on this. Well, Shabir, give us the weather update from there right now.
Yeah, in Kashmir last night, it snowed in many districts of the North Kashmir because, as predicted by the Meteorological Center in Srinagar, from 1st of January, Jammu and Kashmir was hit by western disturbances, which resulted in the fresh snowfall and precipitation. There has been rainfall in certain areas of the Jammu and Kashmir, but in North Kashmir, light to moderate rainfall was recorded last night, which plummeted the temperature further down to the sub-freezing level. In Srinagar, the temperature is below the freezing level, with all the major lakes, including Dal Lake. The surface of Dal Lake are frozen. The water pipe supply lines to the homes are freezed. The roads are presenting an icy condition, which gives a challenge for the transporters to drive. But the authorities have issued advisories, and the traffic police and other staff is on roads to ensure that no hassle is being met by the transporters, and it is being ensured that no untoward incident happens, because authorities are making every effort to see that people are not facing a lot of difficulty in this winter.
All right. Shabir, with temperatures dropping below zero, as you said, and the Dal Lake has frozen, although pipes, you said, are frozen. What are the problems being faced by the locals there, and especially the tourists who must have arrived in large numbers, considering the new year has started?
Yeah, tourists are in huge number in Srinagar, in Pahalgam and Gulmarg particularly, because these are the places where tourists love to visit in winters too. Either in Gulmarg is a world-known ski resort, because a lot of foreign skiers and local skiers do come to Srinagar to enjoy skiing. And this year, it has been a bountiful year, because huge snowfall, occurred in Kashmir in last week and last night also. This is a big boon for the skiers, and skiers all across the globe who have arrived here are enthusiastic, and they are happy to make a good time this time in Gulmarg. So likely in other places, tourists are enjoying the snowfall, the white carpet, and in Kashmir they are enjoying the honeymoon makers who are here. They are enjoying it. All facilities are available in hotels for tourists, but the locals do face some difficulties owing to the fact that the sub-freezing temperature, freezes the water supply lines. So they have to manage that. The power crisis is here. So obviously, when there is a shortage of power supply, people do have to rely on the traditional heating arrangements, which no doubt brings some, difficulties for them.
All right, Shabir, thank you so much for all those details from there. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Dollar starts 2025 higher, yen rooted at 5-month lows. Pacer Akashdeep ruled out of Sydney Test due to back injury. And we'll get you the glimpse of Germany's frost-dusted Black Forest.
Embark on a timeless journey. Unravel the mysteries of a grandiose era. A treasure trove of royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillared halls, mandapas, rock-cut memorials and more. A spectacular setting of rugged landscape and exemplary workmanship, representing the best of Dravidian architecture. Every structure carved out as a unique artistic creation. A heritage landmark that reflects pure magnificence, integrated within its natural environment. An unexplored haven for nature and adventure enthusiasts. An imposing heritage reflected in its street bazaars and annual festivals of music and culture. Come, be mesmerized by the glorious capital of the Vijayanagar Empire.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khuranan. On to some business news now. The US dollar kicked off 2025 on the front foot on Thursday after a strong year of gain against most currencies, with the yen sliding toward its lowest level in more than 5 months as investors pondered US interest rates staying higher for longer. Market focus early in the year will be on the incoming Trump administration and its policies that are widely expected to not only boost growth but also add to price pressure, underpinning US Treasury yields and boosting dollar demand. A wide interest rate difference between the US and other economies has cast a shadow over the currency market, resulting in most currencies declining sharply against the dollar in 2024. Weaker growth outlook outside the US, geopolitical tension in the Middle East and the Russia-Ukraine conflict have added to demand for the dollar, while markets in Japan are closed for the rest of the week. And Venezuela's economy grew over 9% in 2024. Venezuela's economy in recent years has experienced a prolonged crisis marked by triple-digit inflation and the exodus of millions of Venezuelans seeking better opportunities elsewhere. In 2019, the government loosened control on the private sector, allowing for an informal dollarization, which provided a lifeline to key sectors of the economy. However, analysts believe this strategy has not been sufficient for a full economic recovery. And Singapore's economy surpassed expectations in 2024, growing 4.0%, beating the government's forecast of 3.5%. Despite a slowdown in the fourth quarter, which saw a dip from 5.4% growth to 4.3%, the city-state's performance remains strong. Key sectors like manufacturing grew 3.5% for the year, bouncing back from a decline in 2023, while construction and services, including wholesale retail and food services, showed significant growth. Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong cautioned that global tensions and persistent inflation would continue to impact Singapore's economy and people's livelihoods. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Indian pacer Akashdeep has been ruled out of the fifth and final test against Australia on Friday due to a back injury. India head coach Gautam Gambhir addressed the media on Thursday and confirmed the pacer's unavailability in the ongoing Border Gavaskar Trophy. Akash had claimed 5 wickets in the first 2 tests in Brisbane and Melbourne. Regarding the teams playing 11 for the series decider, the coach maintained that the decision would be taken on match day after assessing the pitch conditions. Meanwhile, Australia captain Pat Cummins confirmed that B.O. Webster will make his test debut in the final match, replacing Mitch Marsh due to his poor performance in the series. Cummins also assured fans of Mitchell Starc's participation despite the pacer nursing a rib niggle. Australia, leading the series by 2-1, will aim to secure the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Sydney with a refreshed lineup, while India remains focused on levelling the series. And pacer Jasprit Bumrah has gone past Ravichandran Ashwin record to become the highest-ranked Indian test bowler in the ICC rankings history. The Indian pace spearhead has secured 907 points in the test rankings, surpassing Ashwin's 904 rating points, which was achieved in December 2016. Bumrah finished year 2024 with 71 wickets in the longest format. His stellar performance in the ongoing Border Gavaskar series against Australia has yielded him 30 wickets and helped him consolidate his lead as the #1 test bowler in the recent rankings. And Indian Grandmasters Arjun Argaisi and world champions D. Gukesh retained their 4th and 5th spot respectively in the chess rankings released on Wednesday. Argaisi continues to have 2,801 rating points for the 4th spot. Earlier, he became the 2nd Indian after Vishwanathan Anand and 16th worldwide to reach the gold standard ELO rating of 2,800, while Gukesh, who defeated Dinger Lizan of China to win the World Championships title last month, is 1 place below Argaisi at 5th with 2,783 ratings. Norwegian Magnus Carlsen continue to be at the top spot with 2,831 ratings. Anand is the 3rd Indian in the top 10, occupying the 10th spot with an ELO rating of 2,750. An Indian women's football team is set to square off with Maldives in the second friendly match in Bengaluru on Thursday. Head coach Joachim Alexanderson said that he will hand out more debuts in the match. Alexanderson made a thumping start to his coaching career in India as the team thrashed Maldives 14-0 in the first match. As many as 8 players made their debut. India ranked 69th in the FIFA rankings, while Maldives are at 163rd position. And Arsenal began the new year in style as they defeated Brentford 3-1 away and moved back into second place in the Premier League on Thursday. Brian Mbobo gave the host a 13th-minute lead with Brentford's first attack, with Gabriel Jesus continued his recent form to equalise before half-time. Michael Merino and Gabriel Martinelli netted in quick succession soon after half-time to ensure Arsenal moved into second place above Nottingham Forest. The win lifted Arsenal above Chelsea and Nottingham Forest with 39 points from 19 games, with Liverpool on 45 from 18. Injury hit Brentford's second home defeat of the season left them in 12th spot with 24 points from 19 games. And before we wrap up, let's take you to Germany, where the New Year's Day weather provided a picture-perfect start to 2025 in the European nation's Black Forest. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world of the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.